I was so excited when we took off on the plane for Washington, D.C. Our first stop was at the Washington, D.C. Zoo, one of my favorite places. Next, we went to the National Cathedral. It was huge and awesome. There was so much stained glass windows and flags and statues. It was amazing. Next, we went to the Jefferson Memorial. That was pretty cool. You could see everything from that spot. You could see the Air Force Memorial, the Washington Monument, everything. It was so cool. It was getting dark. We decided to go to the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial, and it was pretty cool in the dark. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was handicapped because he had polio, but he didn't want the press or anybody else to know that, so nobody else did. Our tour guide said that he really liked this memorial because the water fountains kept on getting louder and louder as you kept going into the memorial. Next, we went to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. That was pretty cool. He was carved out of what looked like a mountain. I read about the Korean Memorial everywhere, but I wanted to see it in person, so I did. It was awesome in the dark. We went to the Lincoln Memorial. It was awesome. Everybody was all gathered around there taking pictures of his big statue. It was bigger than I expected, but it was also pretty cool. You would think they would try their hardest to not mess up anything on this great memorial, but they found a way. They messed up the F in future and now it looks like an E. Way to go. I got to see the where Martin Luther King Jr. stood when he was giving his great speech, I Have a Dream. I looked out and imagined all those people standing there and looking at me. I would get really nervous. The World War II memorial was cool in the dark, but I was so tired from waking up at 3 in the morning, and it was 10 o'clock when we went to see that, so I only took one picture because I was so tired. Fitbits are awesome. I just have a little flex, but it counts your steps, so I had 22,000 steps and 9.2 miles. Some people say I cheated because we had a competition to see who had the most, but I only cheated a little bit. We woke up early, got on Barry's bus, and headed to the Capitol. It was pretty. My favorite part about the Capitol is, I think, everybody's, the rotunda. it was awesome. Even though there was construction everywhere and it smelled like construction, it was pretty cool. We also went to the Library of Congress. It was pretty cool. Lots of stuff to see and lots of pictures to take. Then we went to one of the best spots ever, the Mount Vernon, George Washington's house. What you are seeing here is not George Washington's real grave, but his one that he used to be buried in. Then they, I don't know why, but decided to move him. Now this is the real thing. George Washington's body is in that tomb. He was buried right next to his wife, and behind that wall there are some more important people buried there. It was pretty awesome. The gift shop was pretty cool too. Me and Max had a lot of fun there.
The Marine Corps Memorial was awesome. It was super cool when it was lit up in the dark. And when you walked around it, it looked like the soldiers were actually putting up the flag. I had over 20,000 steps that day. I was so tired. My bed felt so good after 20,000 steps. We had lots of fun stops at Washington, D.C., but the White House, that was the best. We didn't get to go in it, though. I don't know why. Bunch of baloney to me. Okay, so we went to the World War II Memorial again in the daytime. I had a lot more energy because I didn't wake up at 2 that morning. You know how it is, I think. It was super fun. This is a Vietnam Memorial for the women who served in the war. There was only a couple of them. They were nurses, of course. That day was a record day with over 24,000 steps, 10 miles, 2,594 calories burned. I'm feeling good, but tired. Arlington National Cemetery, it was huge, really huge, and growing. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers was pretty cool. We got to see the changing of the guard and the wreath ceremony. It was awesome. Robert E. Lee's house was very big and cool. The only reason why Robert E. Lee was in Washington, D.C. and living there, he had some relationship with George Washington. So, yeah. Ford's Theater, where a great president died, assassinated in cold blood. Man, was the Air Force Memorial big. It was like awesome. The 9/11 Pentagon Memorial. The wave-type benches facing outward are the people who died in a plane crash. Ones facing inward are the ones who died in the Pentagon. the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. That was pretty fun. We didn't go till that later that day because we couldn't get tickets or something, and we couldn't take pictures. So that stinks. While we were waiting in line to get tickets for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, another group went to the Washington Monument. That thing was huge. We got tickets, we went up, and it was awesome. You could see everything from that very top of the Washington Monument. That was cool. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke here. Awesome, I have a dream speech. Imagine people everywhere right here, jam-packed, closely together. This picture was not taken from the Washington Monument. It was taken from our plane. That's right. We headed back, and I was sad. I could have stayed there for at least 3 more weeks. But I guess we had to go back to school. Who knew?